Hi, everyone. Bill Rentschler alongside Megan Conway in the 1011 Now streaming studio again for another edition of Juicebox Chats. You see we got that fancy new open there. There's some backgrounds behind me. Shout out to our creative services guy, Heath Miller, for... I just went to him and I was like, hey, kind of like a parenting deal. He's like, got it.
Yes. Oh, he's so talented. We are incredibly blessed to have him on our team. Yeah, look at his amazing creations. He just whips up out of nowhere. Just whips them up.
I know. Yep. He said he wanted it to kind of have like a shampoo commercial kind of feel.
I like that. Okay, I get that. Yeah.
So, so I think he nailed it there. So another edition of Juicebox Chats, Megan, again, that we took last week. I should say I took last Thursday
He
off.
deserted me.
My
actually.
fault.
He left. Yep.
I dropped the ball there. I apologize.
You're not allowed to take a day off, Bill. So,
but again, if you're new to the program, again, we're just kind of talking about parenting things. You know, wins, losses,
funny moments,
intermediate. We're not sure if they're wins or losses yet.
Yes.
Anything been going on in your house that's kind of exciting?
That's noteworthy. Well, actually, it's very timely for our topic that Aurora, my daughter, 5 years old, just started volleyball through the YMCA.
There you go.
So we just did that. And I heard you were talking about field trips for kids, too. She gets to take her first ever field trip. Yes. This Friday, they're scheduled to go to Rookberry Farm. It's going to be a little hot for it, but she's very pumped to be going on a field trip. And this will be the first time she's ever rode a bus.
Oh, that's exciting.
So it's a big day.
My oldest, again, went to the Omaha Zoo yesterday, and I assumed they would be taking like just the school bus. They took a charter bus.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
I mean, I get it's from Lincoln to Omaha. Charter bus is probably safer than just a regular school bus, but he was also equally excited.
I bet.
But came back with all the, lion dander and, gorilla dander, and he was just kind of struggling through it a little bit.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah,
just affected him a little bit. Yeah, this time of year, I feel like they've been a little bad too with the warmer temperatures, the allergies and everything. So,
but you mentioned it, Megan, kind of as a lead into our topic for today. Today, it is fall sports season.
It is. All the activities.
All of the activities. All of the things. And there's just, it's a lot. School year starts and you're like, okay, we're moving, we're going. And then like fall sports season starts and you're like, okay, now we're moving, we're shaking, and we're crying a little bit, and we're trying to fit everything in.
And then it's going to snowball right into the holidays. So buckle up, buckaroos. Here we go. We are starting all the activities. And with that, kids, they're not always the most coordinated or the most careful. So today we're talking about, fall injuries that come with those activities, or different things that can kind of help parents be prepared for those moments, and just what to do if you're a first-time parent.
And so excited to bring back now a recurring guest to the program, Rebecca Reichs with CHI Health, APRN, Family Medicine. We're excited to have her back on the program to kind of help answer some of our burning questions about fall sports and the pitfalls that come with it. Rebecca, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we so appreciate you being here. A couple times we just call her up and we're like, hey, could you talk about this? Please come on. She's like, sure.
Well,
wonderful.
See, the thing I'm most excited about is we obviously did not scare her away much last time that she was willing to come back.
Yes, we love it.
By the way.
No, you were great. So I guess we'll just go ahead and dive in on the topic today, Rebecca. So thank you again for being here. What would you say are some of the most common safety concerns that you see happen with fall sports and activities around this time of year?
Yes, so excuse my voice. I also have allergies. So getting back into the school routine while starting a busy sports schedule, that can lead to a lot of issues with kids: fatigue, academic stress, increased risk of burnout in our littles, which you don't really think about, but kids get burnt out too. And then as far as injuries, I think the big ones in fall sports with football and soccer especially is just concussions. Concussions are a big issue. Luckily they're getting more attention in the media these days, so we are more careful with our concussion protocol now, but just concussions is our biggest fall sport risk. Really any sport. You can get a concussion in volleyball. You can get a concussion, playing music. Who knows? The risk of And the other thing is the risk of playing with undertreated medical conditions like
Mm-hmm.
asthma or undiagnosed heart conditions or blood disorders. Unfortunately, it's not a fun thing to talk about, but we do lose kids every year to these complications, and so that's why
Mm-hmm.
it's so important to get your kids in for their sports physicals.
Yeah.
They're much more than just checking a box. It seems like you just kind of get all these silly questions the whole time, but your providers really are looking into family history, what your risk factors are to have some of these medical
Mm-hmm.
conditions. Safe.
Yeah, and I feel like with kids, just kind of building off of that, kids can't really articulate what they're feeling a lot of the time with their bodies. So I wonder too, like, do you see it more undiagnosed in these children than you would adults because maybe they're not seeking out that care because they don't know how to tell you what's wrong or what they're feeling?
Right. Yeah. A lot of times they kind of just they have these very vague complaints to
Yeah.
their parents, and so if the parents bring up these vague complaints, which sometimes it's just my stomach hurts, I don't feel good, I don't want to go to practice today, but usually requires a little bit more digging on our parts to figure out why. If this was something that the kids used to love to do, or they're usually a really active kid, what's going on? What has changed?
And so, Rebecca, I think most parents can probably tell, when kid is stretched a little, maybe a little thin. A lot of times I
Mm-hmm.
see it when we get home from school. It's like we just kind of fall apart a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But are there
Yep.
any other, especially, some kids are doing school and 3 or 4 different sports, and I totally understand that and I totally get it. But how can parents tell if maybe they're doing too much, and
Yeah.
kind of where to draw the line?
Yeah, so I mean, you said it. You can see it most of the time. It usually shows up in physical, emotional, behavioral changes. So some of the most common physical signs would be like struggling to wake up, or they're always tired, or even trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Kids can be very anxious about these activities if they know they're struggling with it, or if they know that they're stressed out about schoolwork because they're falling behind. Sometimes that evolves into not being able to get good quality sleep.
Mm-hmm.
More frequent illnesses or injuries. Sometimes they complain again of like those headaches, stomach aches, muscle pains without a clear cause. Some of the emotional signs would be irritability, mood swings, those are pretty obvious. Anxiety about practices again, or not wanting to go to games or getting really anxious about games, or they just kind of lose their enthusiasm for the activities they used to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the behavioral or academic signs that we see is a drop in school performance, or they're forgetting more assignments. Teachers are saying, hey, they're not acting like themselves. They have a lack of focus, or they just seem like they're already checked out. And one of the big ones and more obvious signs would be if they are withdrawing from playing with their friends or they're withdrawing from family time. That's usually
Mm-hmm.
kind of the biggest red flag and the biggest sign that we need to step on the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, those are all great signs to watch out for. I know in our house, the sass ramps up a little bit more, and we have a few more temper tantrums. So I can always tell when we just maybe need a day or two of break, or making sure we're getting to bed at a good time so she gets that good rest.
It's always hard though, because you want your kids to, I think a lot of us when we grew up, it's like, all right, soccer, it's basketball,
Mm-hmm.
it's football, it's baseball or t-ball, and you want to do all these things
Yeah.
because you want your kids to hang out with their friends. You want them to, maybe do, it's kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall when they're little and figuring out what they like.
Yeah.
And so then but it can be a lot.
Or I feel like a lot of parents too may be worried that if you don't have your child trying all these things, it's almost the fear of missing out for your
Mm-hmm.
kid, that you're
Some
not doing
FOMO.
enough, that you're not giving them all the experiences that you can or that all the other kids are getting. So you just want them to be able to do everything, but you can't do everything. You have to pick a few. And like we've kind of been talking about with some of these sports come those injuries, the physical injuries. What's one easy thing maybe parents could do to help prevent some of those injuries in the games or practices, Rebecca?
Yeah. The easiest thing and the most important thing and the most effective thing would be parents need to make sure that their kids show up well hydrated and with a small balanced snack about 30 to 60 minutes before the game or practice, like a banana with peanut butter or yogurt or a granola bar, something that has carbs and protein in it. Um, 30 to 60 minutes before, so they're not puking on their friends, but that also gives their body time to kind of process their energy. And these matter because adequate hydration, of course, keeps your muscles and your joints functioning properly. And this well-balanced nutrition gives kids the energy to move better, and that lowers the risk of the sloppy technique that often leads to injury.
Mm-hmm. And so it might be kind of the same question, between how do we tell if a child's doing too much? Are there any signs that we need to be mindful of if, like, we're doing all these things and, like, hey, maybe we need to seek medical attention? Because sometimes, parents can freak out a little bit. We're a little, we're like, wait, what do you mean? Like Jamie got a nosebleed the other day, and, like, I thought it was a lot of blood. And my wife, who's a nurse, was like, he's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess maybe where is the line that, like, hey, maybe we do need to call Rebecca, and, we do need to get checked in. We do need to get seen by someone who actually knows something.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And kind of like feeding off of like the nosebleed, if it's a one-time occurrence, okay, she got a nosebleed. If it's something that's recurring frequently, that's something we need to get checked out. All of the other things we already talked about, those are things to pay attention to. If they kind of go to an extreme on those, like the irritability, loss of motivation, definitely get checked out. More where you're needing more than just a slowdown, but maybe let's go in and talk about if there's anything underlying. But some of the big red flags that definitely require medical attention is more along the lines of they're complaining that they can't breathe at practice, or they tell you that, man, my chest really hurts, or it hurts when I breathe. Or even if they had like a syncopal episode, or they fainted at practice, or their coach said, man, we had to have them sit down, they got dizzy, recurrent headaches, recurrent dizziness, lightheadedness during any activity, persistent pain in a joint or muscle, especially if it gets worse with activity. Those are all red flags that definitely put the brakes on and get them in to be evaluated, so we don't potentially have worse consequences. What is the word there? Worser?
More consequences? Further?
More.
So I had Jamie just like shove a toilet paper up his nose to stop the bleeding, and then like with the toilet paper, and again, this might be oversharing, I don't know, like the clot came out with it, and then I was immediately like, mom, we need you right now.
Mom, we need an adult in the room. It's not me.
It was not me.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and kind of piggybacking off to these injuries and everything, when you're at these games and activities, you're not at home. You don't have everything that you may need to treat something. So this is kind of a question more for my personal benefit, because I try to keep like a bag in my car that's some medical things, but just like a preparedness bag, I want to say. So I have a couple of those ice packs that you can hit to activate, and some bandages, gauze, things like that. Rebecca, can you think of anything else I should add to my preparedness bag that would be helpful, to me or to other families? Like just this past weekend, actually, we were at the park, and a young girl at a table next to us got stung by a bee. So I offered them one of the ice packs, to help with the swelling and the pain and everything. So it's not just for my benefit. It's for people I run into too.
Yeah, no, I think you're all along the right lines as far as just kind of those first aid supplies, along the lines of being outdoors now in the changing of environments, any kind of allergy medications, those are always helpful. Some topical medications like hydrocortisone cream, if they have any exposure to insects, plants that their skin is sensitive to, that's always helpful. It helps with the burning, it helps with the itching of that. Any kind of Tylenol, ibuprofen, and then always some kind of water or rehydration, and then some kind of, again, like a snack that has protein and carbs in it.
So if I were to ask you for a snack right now?
Oh, I have snacks in my car, Bill. Are you hungry? And I know, even if my preparedness bag is out of snacks, I could dig and find you a Cheerio. For sure. Like, no doubt.
I don't want one of your in-between the car seats Cheerios.
Or like an old cold
Those
fry.
Are probably stale.
Maybe an old cold chicken nugget. I'm sure we could find something in the car seats somewhere. You didn't say without mold.
Oh, yeah. I didn't say. I need to clarify. Rebecca, you mentioned it just a second ago, but obviously for hydration for kids, super important, making sure to show up to all these events properly hydrated and things like that. I think, sometimes that can be just like taken for granted sometimes, but really how important is that? If you've ever been to a kindergarten soccer game, they're not exactly exerting a ton of it's but like it's still important for them to be well hydrated.
Yes, hugely important. I am a nutrition and wellness nut. It's what my first degree was in, and I could talk for hours about how important it is for just your overall well-being, not just for performance, but also for their growth, and their recovery. So studies show that even mild dehydration causes slower reaction time. They get tired faster, and they have a loss of function and coordination, which again, obviously leads to those injuries. And then as far as nutrition, the most important things, carbs, they provide that quick fuel for practices and games. And protein is what supports your muscle repair and your growth afterwards. And so kind of educating them on this as to why eating these healthy foods is important, because obviously we're going to want to eat all the fun, delicious foods as children. But if we can educate them and tell them like, hey, we're having this protein, we're having this chicken because this is what builds muscles. And I know you love soccer and I know you want to get faster at soccer. This is what's going to help you get faster. So kind of giving them the reason why and relating it to the things that they love. So adequate calories, protein, calcium and vitamin D keep bones and muscles strong, prevent those fractures. And then a balanced post-practice snack like carbs and protein is what helps them kind of bounce back for the next day. If they're not getting their nutrition in after these practices and after these games, that's when you kind of see them kind of slowly start to not necessarily deteriorate, but they just don't bounce back as quickly. And nutrition is really your answer to that, nutrition and rest.
So you tell your kids, hey, you let in those 3 goals last week because you didn't eat your chicky nugs.
It's not because you don't have skills. It's because you didn't eat your nugs. No, just the other day, Aurora was searching for a post-school snack, and I was like, okay, you got to pick something healthy. And she was like, well, how about a fruit roll-up? That's fruit. And I was like, oh, babe.
So close.
So close. Yeah, so you're right. The kids, they don't know so much. And you really have to explain that to them about nutrition and about food and what's in these foods that's important and why you're eating it. She automatically assumed because fruit was in the name, it was healthy. And, that's hard for a 5-year-old to know the difference. That's just
good marketing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely good marketing. But away from the nutrition too, Rebecca, back to kind of the burnout and knowing when that's happening, how can parents maybe help kids avoid that and really still enjoy their activities without overloading them?
Yeah. So avoiding burnout is about helping kids find the joy and balance while still challenging themselves. I think it's so easy as parents. We want to live vicariously through our kids because we love soccer and they love soccer and we want them to be the best because being the best is fun. But we got to focus on the love of the game and the love of the sport, and remind them that sports and activities are meant to be enjoyable, not just competitive. We should celebrate their efforts and their teamwork and their progress, not just their wins or their achievements. It's important that they know losing is just a part of sports, and usually the most important lessons are learned in our losses. So I would say just encouraging them through those losses and kind of using those as like, these are the things that have to happen for us to get better. And that kind of helps them mentally wrap their head around, okay, it's not all about winning. But they don't know that because all the other kids and their coaches, it is about winning. So it's really our role, unless you have phenomenal coaches, it's really our role to kind of teach them what it truly is all about.
We always tell the boys, like, hey, the first step at being good at something is by being bad at something.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely, like, do you pick up a golf club and you're out there and you're, Tiger Woods or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
A lot of work goes into it, and everyone, whatever they did, they probably started and they probably weren't very good at it.
It's a very good point. Yeah. Yep.
So on the other side of that coin, Rebecca, for the parents, how is any recommendations for the parents to avoid the burnout with, school, all the fall activities and everything else, we're already gearing up for Halloween, making plans for Thanksgiving, and then that's into Christmas and all the rest of it. How can parents, any recommendations for parents, like these two right here, who
keep us sane?
The wick is already burning at both ends.
Do you guys just essentially feel like an underpaid Uber driver? Is that your life now?
Yep. Yes, and a chef and a nanny.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cooking, cleaning, taxing?
It's so easy to go from busy into too much. And like you're saying, it affects the entire family unit, not just the kids. So kind of a few strategies to kind of help keep the balance is prioritize. And so figure out what is a priority for your kids. So maybe soccer this fall and music this winter. Limiting that overlapping of sports and activities is it's going to help, yes, with the kids, but also with you, because then you're not driving to 6 different activities every day after school. And then protect your downtime. Downtime is sacred. So schedule at least 1 to 2 free evenings every week, which sounds like a lot when you think about it, for family time or rest. And also making sure that your kids are getting enough sleep. Prioritize their sleep, prioritize your family time. It kind of just instills those values in them of keeping the balance of what is important. And then as far as like getting the fuel throughout the week, it's so easy to go through the drive-through. It's so easy to grab something at the store that's maybe not the healthiest option. I always recommend prepping these healthy snacks and meals the week ahead of time. So on Sunday is family time. It's sacred. You invite your kids to participate with you in making these meals. It helps them learn how to maintain this busy and healthy lifestyle, and it prepares them for when they're out on their own. Because mommy is not going to be able to make my meals and snacks when I'm in college. And life only gets busier as we get older, as we know. And so this is kind of our role in helping prepare them to become these healthy, functioning adults. But then you get that family time in, and then they become more independent in helping with these activities. And in the long run, they kind of take that role on themselves, and it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, I love that. So for these activities, do you recommend like a break between the fall and winter activities, or is it okay to just roll from one into another? Or, what is the balance there?
Yeah. So rolling right into the next season, it can work sometimes, and sometimes there really isn't a choice just based on what the school schedule is like. But kids' bodies and their brains, they need a breather. So even if it's just a week or two that lets their bodies recover, lets them remember what free time feels like, it decreases their stress levels, and maybe even just like some time to hang out with family, which, I mean, that doesn't happen very often. So if we can really encourage that, the 1 to 2 weeks in between activities, that's huge.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. A lot of different
topics. We could probably still go for another hour with different things. Rebecca brought up kind of like the emotional health side of all these things too. We could probably go into a rabbit hole about that.
Yep.
We could just let her talk about hydration for an hour.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to anchor the noon newscast, I'm sure. We can just keep going.
We could just keep going. I will throw a curveball here at you, Rebecca, unrelated to just ball sports, but kids have been in school now for 6-7 weeks or so. Obviously, as we get into the colder time of the year, we're going to have sick kiddos at home. Anything, I guess, top of mind from you guys over there? I'm sure you're going to start seeing an influx of sick kiddos here sooner rather than later, if you haven't started seeing it already, in terms of just trying to stay off the sidelines as we head into the fall.
Yep. Oh my gosh, yes. So hand, foot, mouth is running rampant right now. If you haven't got it, it's almost not a matter of if, it's when. Just kidding.
We had it. It went through our house.
Same. It's awful.
It was terrible.
It went through everybody's house. So the most important thing and the most annoying thing kids don't like to hear from us is hand hygiene. Washing your hands. Washing them before you eat, washing them after you eat, especially washing them before and after you go to the bathroom. Sometimes I like to kind of like relate it and get it into the heads of my pediatric patients, my teenager patients. I talk about, washing your hands is the most important thing. I ask them, did you go to the bathroom like in our clinic today? Did you go to the bathroom somewhere in public today? Yeah, I said, I guarantee you, everybody that touched that door handle, half of them washed their hands. And so you touch that same door handle, and now you're going to go eat your snacks. So it's really, hand hygiene is the most important thing you can do. Masks, of course, are helpful if you are coughing and to prevent the spread of that. But hand hygiene, it is the oldest trick in the book. It is the most effective trick in the book. If we can just get that into their heads.
All right.
Yep.
It can be hard. It's tough.
It is.
Their hands go many different places, and you got to show them. You got to show them like how to wash their hands.
Yes.
And you know what? I struggle a lot with my son trying to. He's going to be 2 in December. So you're holding this wiggly toddler trying to hold his arms under the water, make sure the water stays warm, but not too hot. Because if it does even get a little warm, he goes, hot, hot, hot. I'm like, I know, baby, I know, so trying to like get him to wash his hands and, because the stools just aren't quite tall enough, I guess, to get him to the sink. So it's just such an awkward age. But he's at the age where everything goes in his mouth, including his hands. And so I know that washing hands is very important. But it is just like a greased pig that I'm trying to hang on to. It's crazy. But I'm talking to a lot of parents that struggle with that.
Like the hand sanitizers that smell good, or they have those little beads in them. That's more fun for kids. And so carrying around hand sanitizer in your bag or in your car at all times.
In my go bag.
Yeah. Kids love hand sanitizer for whatever reason, especially if it smells good.
Okay, there you go. I'm adding that to my prepared bag.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. Are like the Clorox wipes, the hand wipes, are those equally as good as like the hand sanitizer?
I think so. At killing germs, yes, but the additional chemicals in them, I would be nervous to use those long term on your skin for any kind of like systemic absorption.
I say, because we keep one of those in the center console in the car, so there's a lot of just like, if we're on the road.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna get the hand sanitizer. I think that's a great idea.
There you go. All right, Rebecca. We could keep you here all day, but we know you got to get back to work. You got to go see some patients. So we really appreciate your time today. Appreciate you as always.
Of course, thank you guys.
All right. Again, that was Rebecca Reichs, APRN, CHI Health. We really appreciate her time. Megan, we've been trying to do money here for the last couple of weeks, but schedules just haven't been working out. So next week, maybe it'll be money.
Maybe we'll try again.
We'll see.
We'll try
and figure it out.
But yeah, we would like to talk about money, how to set up your child for success and save for school, or, just budgeting for a family and anything like that. So hopefully we'll be able to talk some money here soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate everyone again for tuning in for another edition of Juicebox Chats. As always, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all of your latest news, weather, and sports. Until next time, hope everyone has a nice day.
1011 News is everywhere. Download our smart TV apps and follow us on social media at 1011 News.